Hey guys, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I am a CPA who has started selling trading cards online primarily via tcgplayer.com. Right now I'm selling Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic the Gathering. On this channel, I hope to document, ideally on a weekly basis, the ups and downs of the business. I want to show you guys things that I've gotten right, things that have gone wrong, mistakes that I've made. I want to show you guys just kind of the realities of what selling is like from someone who has never done this before. Also, with a CPA background, I want to show you guys some of the pitfalls that I see new business owners fall into. I want to give you guys some ideas of what you need to be looking out for, especially if you've never run a business before. If you're wanting to get into the selling business, kind of want to give you guys an idea of things like the record keeping you need to do, tax implications you need to be aware of, things like that. And I'm hoping to have one video each week showing the progress of my business, and another video each week showing kind of the administrative side, more business oriented topics to help you guys navigate potentially a new world for you. I also want to throw in videos like this that don't really fit in anywhere else, but I think are kind of relevant and I want to talk about. Um, Today's topic is going to be about collecting versus owning. And this is a big topic that I had to really think through. Um, the first time I bought a Pokemon card was, I think, in probably 1999, maybe 2000. With the first booster pack I can remember getting is the original Jungle set. Um, from there, I may have gotten a deck or two random booster packs as funds became available. Then I moved into Yu-Gi-Oh when that came out in the U.S. I probably dropped trading cards as a hobby in maybe, I don't know, 2006 or so. Um, I picked it back up again in 2023 when Konami released the 25th anniversary boxes with the Egyptian God cards in one booster pack each of the original 5 booster sets, which is really cool. I got into Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit late, so I don't think I ever actually opened like a Legend of Blue Eyes pack until those 25th anniversary boxes came out. So that was fun to kind of go back to the very beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh and see some of those cards, and remember the disappointment of just getting a bunch of vanilla monsters and traps and spells that did nothing. Um, so I think that's a very accurate representation of what it's probably like to buy those original packs. No secret rares, no ultimates or anything out of those for me. But that's neither here nor there. But since then, I have bought a good amount of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, primarily via the annual tins that they did. Some structure decks, as well as some Pokemon booster packs, as well as Magic Gathering boosters. And those were all just kind of sitting either in binders on a shelf doing nothing. So I said, okay, well, let's start selling some of these cards online and see if we can't make an actual business out of this. Um, so as part of the process of getting started up, I had to decide which cards am I going to keep as my personal collection and which ones am I going to sell. Um, because the problem with buying and selling trading cards is the desire to keep all of the really cool ones. If you see something interesting coming across your desk, you're like, okay, this is going into my collection. But if you do that with everything that's interesting, you are going to be spending a lot of money to get good cards and then keeping all the good cards for yourself and just selling the bulk for a loss. That's fine if you want to sell the bulk as a way to kind of defray the cost of building your personal collection. But if you're trying to build a business, you kind of have to sell the good stuff as well. And you need to be more discerning about what goes into your personal collection versus what is going actually onto the market. I do think you can build a collection while buying and selling cards, but you do need to keep some criteria in mind and not just keep everything that you see, but keeping the stuff that actually is going to matter to you. I'll say when I'm saying that, I'm not talking about if you're a competitive player, if you're keeping a binder full of, say, staples, tech cards, trade bait, stuff like that, that you're keeping around because you may be going into a deck as formats rotate or as new cards come out, new metas develop, and you want to switch out cards in your current deck. That's totally different than what I'm talking about here, which is just things that are you're going to keep because you want them and are going to just be sitting in a binder, not really doing anything for you. Um, so that said, I do have 3 examples that we can look at today. I'll use each of them as um, a way to as a way to go through my process for deciding what to keep versus what to sell, and hopefully you guys will come out of this with a understanding and some ideas that you can apply to your own collections, decide what's best for you guys to keep versus what may make sense to sell. So let's get started. The very first pack of Pokemon cards I bought after my 20 plus year hiatus included this Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames, which is what I would later learn is, I believe it's called a Super Illustrators Rare. I consider it a sign, obviously. Pulling out a very valuable card on my first pack means obviously I just need to buy more packs because I have the touch. But I thought this was cool. As of the day I'm recording this, I could sell it for $113.97, which would go a long way to taking out. That would take cover about a fifth of my startup costs just by selling this one card, which would be great. But I'm going to keep it. Reason being, when I see this card, I can easily remember pulling this card when it happened and being surprised that I actually pulled a very rare card. I did not know what a Illustrator's Rare card was at this time. I just thought it was an interesting alternate art for Charizard, which since, as I said, my first booster pack was a jungle set, did harken back to the original base set Charizard that I've been aware of since it came out essentially. So this is a card I'm going to keep because it does evoke that specific memory, both of when I got this card and that original hunt for the really rare cards, all the third evolutions or second evolutions, excuse me, of the 3 Kanto starters, but obviously Charizard specifically. So it is not simply a card that is existing. It is a card when I look at it, I do associate it with something other than card games. So for that reason, I am going to keep it, even though it was very tempting to sell it. It was even tempting the first day when I opened this card. I went to see TCG Player and saw I could sell it for, I think it was around, it was more than $114 at the time. But even then, I made the decision to keep it and put it in my collection binder to keep it because, again, that's something that is not just a card. It does hold memories and emotions in that card, which is one of the criteria that I think you should really consider when deciding whether or not to sell a card. If it does have that personal meaning to you, I think that makes a lot of sense to keep it. If it does not, maybe it's a candidate to put out there, maybe trade away or sell. All right, this next card is from Yu-Gi-Oh! It is Everyone's King. Kind of a weird one. It came in the RDA structure deck. It's not really a token because it has attack and defense, but it also doesn't have a level, so you can't summon it. So I don't actually know what the intent was here. But anyway, I'm going to keep this card. One, because it's 1 cent, and I also have 2 others that I could sell if I really wanted to. But I like Jack Atlas. I don't play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, but if I did have to play one deck at an event or something, it would be RDA. I have it built in every game that's really relevant. Really only Duel Links right now. But I have an RDA deck built in a deck box. It is my favorite archetype. It really fits my play style, what I want out of a deck. And part of that is because I like the concept of the anti-hero like Jack Atlas. Kind of that, not really the protagonist, but not the antagonist at the same time. That's kind of like his story and everything that's going on with that. So for those 2 reasons, I am keeping one of these cards for myself, and may end up selling the other two as space opens up in my inventory. It's not one I'm going to just rush to get rid of, but it's also not. Um, I'm not collecting a playset or anything of it. I am just keeping the one in my personal collection, and that is it. All right. And this is the card that really sparked the thought for me. Ral Crackling Wit. He's a planeswalker from Bloomburrow. I really like him on Magic Arena, which is really the only place I play Magic. Is I will usually play either Izzet or Selesnya. Izzet mainly has been on my main deck recently because until Badger Mold Club came out, green wasn't really that good for various reasons. Prefer green as a color to both red and blue, but you couldn't really play standard with green until you got the Cub came out. Anyway, though, so I've been playing with Ral since Bloomburrows came out, more or less. I really like the idea of him. He's in colors I like. Uh, Otters are cool. And then you have the word storm on his ultimate, which is really a disadvantage for me because I suspect this card probably cost more games than helped me win just because I was trying to get that storm ability more so than trying to actually win the game. But all that to say is Ral is a card that I have actually used even virtually for a while. He was actually in the meta decks for a while, and I think he basically goes in every Izzet deck that I build in Brawl, just because I still want to get that storm ability off. And then Izzet is the only color combination that I've used to get to Mythic. That may or may not have involved Vivi and the Corey Steel Cutter, but we're just going to ignore that. So Izzet does have that going for it as well for me. This was actually my second sale on TCG Player. And my initial thought was, I kind of wish I didn't list Ral because I do have that little bit of experience actually playing him. So it's kind of like Charizard there in that it's in colors I like, colors I play. I use him pretty regularly. He's in my Izzet deck that I use when the dailies are play red and blue spells. My deck Izzet deck comes out and Ral is in there. So there's a lot of stuff that's really going for him that I like. And like I said, my initial thought was, I kind of wish I didn't list him. Then I said, wait, he's been sitting on your shelf since you bought these packs. And I didn't actually know I had him until I was listing cards on TCG Player. And to me, that was a great signal that, okay, well, I didn't know I had him, so why would I feel bad about selling it? Now you could say things have changed. I wasn't playing Izzet at the time. I could just say, the situation's changed a little bit. Maybe if I knew I had him, I would want to keep him as part of the collection. Yeah, this was probably the harder one to list, and I think this is kind of the point where you could argue both sides. The other two were a little bit easier, in my opinion, even though Charizard did have the high price tag. I did sell Ral for $11.13. So that was a really nice start to my selling career. But my ultimate, another way I thought about this was, would I buy this card back for the price that I was paid for it? And I don't think so. I don't think I would go out of my way to buy this card. It has some interesting memories. I like using him. It's a really good card. Somewhat. I mean, he still is a 4-mana planeswalker with only 4 loyalties starting out. So maybe good's overstating a little bit, but he is a card that I would like to keep. If I was just doing a collection, he probably would be in a collection somewhere. He'd probably be in a prominent place. But because I'm selling, I think he's a great candidate to sell. I like him, but he's not something that I just want to keep for the sake of keeping. I think if I did keep this card, he would just end up back in a binder, not doing anything. And it would just be kind of a waste. Whereas once now that he's been sold to somebody who wants him, whether they're playing him in a deck or if they're just collecting the Bloomburrow cards. Don't know. He's going to someone who is willing to pay $11 to get him. Um, so while I think this was the trickiest decision um, among all the cards I've listed, I don't really think I made the wrong one. I think it was a good candidate to sell, especially early because it was an $11 card. It made it easier for that card to sell. And I think this is the one that's kind of sparked the idea of, okay, what do I need to do to differentiate between cards that I'm going to keep versus sell? And because it was he has pleasant memories associated with it. He is not just like a core memory. It's not something that, um, when I think of Magic the Gathering, I don't think Ral, you know. Um, so at the end of the day, he was a great candidate to let go. And that was the mindset I want to keep going forward, is not just keep every single card that I've ever played. It's like, oh, I played this in a virtual game. Let's keep this because now I can actually touch it. It's real. But instead, keep that focus of we're here to sell cards. Um, I can certainly keep cards that I like that fit what I want my collection to be. But Ral was not that. He would just be a card that I'm keeping to keep, to have. And that's something I want to avoid, is just that buildup of trading cards that are there just because I own it, not because I want to collect it. And I think that's a real takeaway from this, is there is a difference between collecting things because you like them, because you want them, because they have memories associated with them, and owning cards because you like to see trading cards. Um, if you like collecting sets, that's cool. If your idea of what a collection is broader, that's cool. But I think there is a line that each of us have to draw between things piling up because we bought packs and just never got rid of the bulk. We never got rid of even the rares, or the ultras, whatever they may be, and things that we actually want to keep in a consolidated collection. For reference, right now, I would say my actual collection is 22 cards. It's the Egyptian God cards, various arts of Blue Eyes White Dragon and Dark Magician, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, uh, as well as a Charizard and a couple other Pokemon cards that I really like. Not all high dollar value cards. A lot of them are probably worth less than a dime, but I like them, and therefore they're in my collection. Um, now it's possible that it's a little bit easier for me to make those decisions because I am keeping cards that I like, not just the shiny versions or the high dollar value. Like I could not care less about the dollar value of my personal collection. Um, they're just there because I want them. Everything else that I own, I'm concerned about the value because I'm trying to sell them. Um, that's the only uh, reason I really care about the dollar value there. Whether I keep a card or not, it really just does come down to, do I like it? Do I want to keep this card? Um, and why do I want to keep it? Is it the inertia of I already own it, therefore it's just stay in my collection, or is it I actually want to own this card? Because it is very easy just to say, okay, well, it's already in my possession, it's going in the binder, that's it. I think it's harder to make the positive decision and say, yes, this is a card that I want to keep. So that may just be the way to think about it, is, do you have a card in your collection because it's already there, or is it there because you want it? But that's something that, like I said, I think every seller is going to have to define their own criteria there. Particularly newer sellers, if you're selling your own personal collection, I think it's probably harder to do it when you're letting go of things that you already own versus cards that come in via a bulk lot that you're just sorting and listing immediately. I think it would be easier to send a card on if you're just buying it as a business transaction purely and it was never something that you kind of really owned. It's just inventory that came in and it's going to go right back out. So I think everybody is going to need their own criteria, but I think it is especially important for new sellers. That is something that I think I knew was going to be an issue, but Rao kind of really brought that to a point. Just again because that was my second sale ever. It wasn't like my 50th, and I was used to the process that at that point. Um, yeah, that's what I want to discuss today. If you guys have any thoughts on collecting versus owning, please drop them in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.